Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Good evening, my friends, and welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chosen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, and the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. As always, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, and all of that jazz. I truly appreciate you because what you do helps us to continue doing what we are doing. So special thanks to Tyresha who joined us last week. I hope you had your cup of tea today. I did, and it was refreshing. But as we continue this month's series, Surviving Life, I want to share again the heart behind this month's theme. To survive means to continue to live or exist in spite of danger or hardship. A survivor is a person who survives, especially a person remaining alive after an event in which others have died. Yet surviving means remaining alive, especially after the death of another or others. It's continuing to exist. Is remaining intact. And this theme came about because survival, my friends, is a daily thing. And I've called on some friends that are surviving, and I wanted them to share what helps them to keep going. As we are all in the beginning of the year, I don't want you to let nothing stop you from obtaining your dream, friend. There was a play, Laugh to Keep from Crying. And friends, life can hit us hard sometimes. It could be overwhelming, underwhelming, unexpected, and downright frustrating. But many have gone on before us, and some have endured some tough situations, and they are inspiration to let us know that we can make it. Today, we even celebrate Martin Luther King. He's letting us know that we can make it if we hold true to some principles that he tried to teach us. But you know what? I'd be a liar to say that all have stayed in the race. Some have thrown in the towel by way of just letting things fall or even taking their lives and different things of that sort. But us who remain, I want us to know that we, friends, can survive. And I want us to keep surviving. So tonight's goal is to share that there, with hope and humor, we can survive this thing called life. And tonight's segment is called Hope and Humor. And it's actually the title of our guest tonight's business. So tonight's guest is going to share his story, how hope and humor has helped him in his surviving. So help me welcome tonight's guest, Leon Harris of Hope and Humor. Woo!
What's going on?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
I can't complain. I'm so excited. This is going to be a great night because hope and humor, well, we got to laugh at some stuff to really keep from crying sometimes, right?
All the time for me. All the time.
All the time. So we're going to get into it. First, over here at Jen Cares, we start with the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, "Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness." Again, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. And that's by Desmond Tutu. What are your thoughts on that?
That is definitely true because the times when you need hope is most of the time when it's really dark, when you can't see or envision or understand how you're going to make it out. So you feel like you're in a dark space. You feel like you're just crawling, reaching for the light, trying to figure out where it's at. So that definitely that's a powerful quote. I like that one.
Indeed. Desmond Tutu also recently passed, but he was a figure to be reckoned with as well, of sharing words and tidbits and things of that sort. So such a good one. Hope, being able to find that light. We're going to talk about finding some light tonight, friends. As always, I have prepared some questions to guide tonight's topic. So All of my chosen friends, be sure to engage in conversation by commenting below. My cat Cleo is also engaging in conversation. Apologize, don't apologize. But
All
let's
right.
get into it, Leon. Tell us
All
about
right.
yourself.
All right. So I'm Leon. I'm Leon Harris. I'm 31. I'm married, going on, I think 8 years. First time I forgot. Going on 8 years.
Woo! You remember? Woo! 8 years.
I have a 4-year-old daughter. Sometimes she feels like she's 34, a little bit older than me. Um, and I'm actually a quadriplegic, complete, which means that I don't have the possibility of walking ever again. Um, uh, as of hopefully, I'm aspiring to be a cybersecurity analyst.
Ooh.
And it's looking really good, for somebody that kind of just shifted gears, and I think it's all because of the favor of God. So some doors have opened up, and I'm excited for that opportunity and that career starting for me. Um, just a funny guy, that learns how to use his humor to make it through some dark times.
Mm.
It's a little bit about me.
Got it. Had to use humor to make it through some dark times. So can we rewind time just a little bit? Can you share with us about what happened for you to be in the surviving mode that you're in?
Um, so basically, 15 years ago, March 26, 2007, I was actually coming home from work. I was 17. I had just turned 17 2 weeks prior, and I was coming home from work. I got off the bus on my block, and some gentlemen, there was actually 4 people involved, but 2 gentlemen specifically hopped out the car and attempted to rob me. I was young at that time, thought I was fast. My house wasn't far away, so I attempted to run. I didn't think nothing of it because it was a kind of hostile situation. They actually wanted me to go into a darker alleyway. That alleyway is known for notorious other things happening. I'm like, I'm not about to be caught dead back there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so my option was to try to run to my house. Um, Unbeknownst to me, the young man had a gun and he shot. I'm guessing it's one bullet. I didn't even hear the shot, but I instantly, I was paralyzed when I kind of, I guess, regained consciousness on the ground. Um, I had to endure 4 months in the hospital between a regular hospital and a rehab hospital. During that time, I had a lot of complications. I had 2 GI bleeds. My lung collapsed. Um, what else happened? I actually, at that time, I lost all sensation in my body. So the only thing I could move was my head. For about 3 months, I couldn't move my arms. I had to regain the use of it and learn how to do everything all over again in regards to that. Um, and all this was, while I'm 17. So in my head, I basically had to grow up overnight. I went from
Mm-hmm.
being a kid to now I got adult things to worry about. Like I got to worry about my whole body before my education. Um, but I was able to graduate high school on time. I was able to quote unquote walk with my class. Um, and from there, I just had to learn how to adjust basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the most interesting part, was adjusting to this new way of walking for me, or
Mm-hmm.
getting around.
Got it. So this month's theme is surviving. So there were some moments um that you may have felt defeated. Can you walk us through that and what that process was? Not just that situation, but really any situation sometimes can take us there. But yeah.
So one of the craziest moments I feel like in my life, was when I was in the hospital, and this was around the time when I kind of lost the use of my arms. And when you're not able to move any part of your body, if you need a call bell, they have a system where it's something like an arm like this,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a straw on it, and you blow into the straw to call your nurse. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is, this only works if you need to call your nurse if the nurse before puts the straw in an appropriate place for a quadriplegic to get it. So it was one night, it was late at night, it was the night shift. And we all know they don't come around that often in the night shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I was laying there for about 3 hours calling, hoping somebody would come to me.
Wow.
Um, that was I think that was like the moment when I knew how, I guess, vulnerable I was,
Mm-hmm.
how my life is so much different now, and that I have to rely on people and I have to figure out how I'm going to cope and deal with this going forward in my life. That was a time I did lose hope. I was kind of like I was kind of over it at that point. I was like, this I'd rather be going than to have to deal with this.
Mhm.
And it
Right.
wasn't even my fault. I wasn't doing nothing wrong, and I
Mhm.
gotta figure out how to adjust to this. So that was when I kind of, I guess, learned how to have hope that night.
Mm. So powerful. So after the nurse finally did come, what was the process moving forward to help nighttime be a little bit better for somebody to respond if you needed support?
Um, no disrespect, but I had a great support system.
Mhm.
I had favor from the Lord that my mother worked at Jefferson,
Mhm.
so she kind of knew some people,
Mhm.
and they made sure that never happened again. they the Lord and they
Okay.
that didn't happen again.
Uh, that's what we want to hear. We don't want that to happen for anybody. And if
Yeah,
y'all got somebody in there, tell them
yeah.
to call Leon's mom. She got the hookup. But I love it. Thank you for your transparency in that moment as well, because sometimes when you feel like you depend on somebody else and they're not there, sometimes you're like, what can I do? What will I
Yeah.
do? Um, and that was an adjustment to learn. And our friends that are listening, there's been some times where you feel like, who can I really call on? Who can I support? Who can support me rather? And then sometimes we have that piece where we're prideful, I guess, to have to ask somebody for
Yeah.
help. Can you share moments like that?
Yeah, I am a prideful person because I'm really independent. I don't like to ask for help. I will struggle first and then
Mhm.
ask.
Mhm.
So I prideful moment, I don't even the last prideful moment I had, I don't even, it's so many. The last prideful moment I had is my wife was asking me to get a lawnmower. She wanted, we needed to take the lawnmower out of the shed, and
Mhm.
my backyard is not really handicap accessible.
Mhm.
And I was like, I felt big and bad at this. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna figure it out. She's like, no, no, I'm gonna help you. And I was like, no, I got it. And yeah, it was a task and a half. I figured it out because that's what I
Mhm.
try to. That's the whole goal for me is to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it would have been a lot easier if I'd have just been like, all right, yeah, I need help.
Mhm.
So I still go through that even 15 years later where I'll try. But I think I am starting as I get older to understand the level of my disability and that I'm getting older. So
Mhm.
I have to
Mhm.
kind of let go of the independence and kind of be like, all right, dog, you are handicapped. Just suck it up.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. And if me and my chosen friends are honest, we all sometimes have a prideful moment because we do think like, we could, if I don't know, I can figure it out.
Mhm,
Google and
mhm.
YouTube, yes, can teach you so many different things, but there's still some things where we do have to ask somebody else, or we still need
Yes.
somebody else. Because even to get to Google, somebody had to put the the answers there, or YouTube, somebody had to go through the experience to be able to share that video.
Yep.
Um, and again, we are all working to get better. Uh-oh, Lance said you're getting a little better with it.
Okay.
Now,
Amen. Thank you.
yeah, your wife has entered the building. She said, I want to answer. Uh-oh. No, no, no. We're gonna
It's an
let
internet
Leon
connection
got
problem. What's wrong with my internet? Oh man.
it. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about the moments when you do get into the funk, when you do get into a moment of darkness, because just at the beginning of the year, we may be having some thoughts and regrets, feelings, whatever about what we didn't do in 2021, because we're 22
Mm.
now, and things of that sort. What are some things to help you to get out of that funk, to help you to stay focused on what it is that you want to do?
Definitely prayer, talking to God. And for me it's prayer, but it's also knowing all that God has done and brought me from.
Mm,
So it kind of makes, for me, it makes it hard to complain, knowing what my life should have been, could have been, supposed to be.
mm,
Um, I complain, but I don't, I try not to.
mm,
And I try not to get down. But if I do, yeah, it's definitely prayer. And it's it's hard because when I get, it's you get so low sometimes.
mhm,
And it comes on just out of nowhere. Life could be going good, and then it just be that one moment, be like, and it just sets you back. And it really, for me, it's just reflection of just knowing where I've been, what I've come through, what I've been through, and just
mhm,
pulling on that to help pull me out. You still feel the feels, but long story short, it's not a lot of time to feel the feels. There's too much other stuff to do. So you gotta kind of bounce back fast.
Yes, yes. I like the part of that reflection piece. And sometimes life will hit us with so many curveballs, we forget about the good times or the parts where we did make it through, when
Yeah.
God did make that way out of no way.
Yeah.
But it's until we had that moment where we kind of get in it of like, this really stinks. This is not fun. We all complain. Yep, friends, you don't got to raise your hands. I know I'll raise it for us all. But then once we get through that human moment, it's like, but God, you brought me through before. I know you can do it again. It don't feel like it. I don't know that I really see it. I don't know that I really feel it. I don't know that I taste it. All of my senses is trying to kick in and see how they can see that this change is about to happen. But because you have done so many things before, because you have woken me up this morning, given me this day, I'm going to keep on putting my best foot forward. And I heard somebody sing, I Won't Complain Today. And as you were saying it, the words were coming back to me of, my good days outweigh my bad days. And if we just remember that part, when we're trying to complain, it's like, I can't complain. I'm going to be funky because it still ain't how I wanted to be. But I'm not going to complain because it could be worse, right?
Lord, it could be like, I always think of, I have friends that their paralysis is a little worse than mine. So I'm always thinking back to being grateful for what I do have. I don't have everything, but I have what I need that I'm able to do for myself. And I know everyone don't have that same ability. And that causes me to always be grateful. Like, oh, it could be, and it could go tomorrow. Like, it could be going. That's why people always ask me why. A lot of people ask me like, well, why do you use a manual chair? Why do you do so much? Yeah, because I lost it. I didn't have it. I didn't have it. It was 3 months, but to know that you can't move your arms, like, no, I'm gonna do whatever I can, as much as I can, as long as I can. So the wheels fall off, literally.
To the wheels fall off, literally. And the manual chair is where you navigate yourself.
Yep, when you navigate yourself, not the little fast little power chair. No, it's just the manual one. You going uphill, it's like, yeah.
Look, well, you don't have to worry about no batteries. You got that strength. You got it, and you strong.
Yeah, I'm old.
Oh goodness!
I'm a teenager in this chair.
Okay, got you. But that's one of the pieces that I love of your story, Leon. You are humorous is the word, a comedian in a sense. Of trying to stay upbeat in those moments when it's like you really could be like pissy Leon or fussy Leon of like, leave me alone. I've been through enough. Go on your merry way. What helps you to be of support to others, those that may be, in a different field of being paraplegic, right? That's the right word.
Paraplegic, paralyzed,
So what are your ways to even be of inspiration to them, or how are they of inspiration to you to keep you encouraged and motivated?
For me, it's knowing I was there, and I didn't have no. I had one. I had a brother. My I didn't have nobody. I did have a brother, Rashad. God rest his soul. But yeah, he was there. He helped me get through. And that was all I had. But I felt like I needed more. I didn't have a lot of resources because he was a different situation to me. So he didn't have all the answers that I needed. So I had to figure out on my own, and that was hard. And that's what I want to prevent for anybody else going through this. Like, you don't need to be year 5 figuring out, oh, I can drive. You don't need to be figuring out how to do better transfers. You don't need to figure out the therapy that you need to do. Like, you can have all these tools and resources when the first year sets you for life, because it's the foundation. Once you learn it, it changes your life. Everything that I'm learning now, I keep learning something new, and it keeps changing my life. And I don't want anybody new to have to go through the craziness that I went through. In technology and the resources are so vast now, it's way easier to get things. It's so easy to get stuff and taken care of. So I just want to make sure people good behind me.
And that's the part. The resources are so vast, but yet still some people don't know about them.
Yeah.
So how do you get resources out to others to let them know, hey, nope, I learned this maybe 5 years in, but you can learn this day one. How do you do that? What is your mechanism for doing that?
For me, I'm a part of I'm part of 2 different like support groups. So I'm a volunteer at McGee. So one thing they do is that they have somebody in my age range or
Mhm.
ethnicity who gets injured, they'll ask me to come talk to them. So that's one way I do it.
Right.
And social media now is just that's a way to
Right.
connect. You throw a couple hashtags and you start
Right.
building a community of other
Mhm.
wheelchair users, and it's amazing and beautiful. And again, it's always learning. Like everyone does a different process, and
Mhm.
some things might work for you, some things might work for me. Like it's trial and error, but it's a good trial and error because you have options now. Before, like 5 years ago, you was on your own. You literally was on your own figuring out with a doctor who didn't know how to take care of you,
Mhm.
and it's crazy.
Mhm. I like the support groups. Last week we talked about the importance of sometimes needing others, and
Mhm.
you shared how you have a shot, but then you feel like you needed more. Right now in your life, who would you say are those people that are key in supporting you to be Leon?
See, I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna make a really bad joke. Had to catch myself.
Well, dang, and I was
My
gonna
brother
say it's
Lance.
humor, so you could joke, but
I know. I didn't want to make. I know. But no, some people like Lance, Kareem, they're like my brothers. They've been there for a minute. Like and I forget how long they've been there, but like they've been through thick and thin and a lot of hospital visits. That's majority of my core right there. I'm kind of tight knit. I have some
Mhm.
other friends I have in Delaware who are
Mhm.
always there whenever I need them. Um,
Mhm.
but I kind of stay close. Like if I develop a bond, I kind of try to keep it as long as I can,
Right.
and I don't let too many new in. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like change, but God brings people who need to be in your life at the time they need to be, and I do accept that. And I'm always observant of
There we
that.
go. And that's the most important part because I get it. Because sometimes you bring people and you find out that they're not really for you.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't. Is something wrong with your internet? Let me see. Because I'm not gonna read it out loud. I'm just let you see it. I don't want no problems at the Harris household.
You can't get rid of the rib. The rib is always there.
There we go. There we go. I love it. Um, so in that you are a girl dad and you are a husband. Did you ever feel like that wasn't in your future?
Yeah, I didn't. First of all, I didn't expect to be a father. I'll be honest for a while, and I didn't definitely expect to be married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it just like happened, but it was just the development of it, how it happened was just organic. It wasn't like a force, like
Mm-hmm.
people like married at first, like I gotta get married, I gotta get married. No, it was I
Let's
just
not talk
was
about
kind
that
of
show. They're doing
huh?
them couples bad.
Yeah, I've been paid for watching since first season, and yes, it's going downhill for me.
Yes.
But it just developed naturally. It was somebody that was caring, that was attentive, that was beautiful, that was nice, and it flowed from a friendship to just a relationship, and it just happened. And we had
Mm-hmm.
conversation about the kid, and originally I was like, "No, I'm all right. No." Then I was like, "All right, we'll go ahead and try it." Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to go through IVF, and we had to make the decision that during IVF was like, okay, do we do this? We put this money in, and we pray for our own. If not, we're happy with being uncles and aunts.
Mm-hmm.
And we was blessed with our daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I cried at the birth because I wanted a boy. So when I saw the hair come out, I was sad. And since I didn't get a boy, I was able to flip my name backwards and give her Noel. So a lot of people think she a Christmas baby, but actually it's my junior, my name backwards. Um, but and looking back on, I do love being a father. I love being a husband and a father. I love having people that I can care for and pour back into and give to them and look after them. And it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. And again, when you get shot at 17, you kind of don't think it's going to happen. It's just like ain't nobody putting up with this.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody dealing with this for life, and
Mm-hmm.
she's dealing with it for life.
Yes. Yes. I love it.
Yes, you tear.
Thank you for clarifying who you were talking about. I want no troubles. I'm still on a piece of you crying because it was a girl, not a boy. I don't know that I was
Because
expecting it to come out next.
listen, so people had this thing where they had all these wives, these myths, these wives, what do they call it? Wives' tales? You see the water,
Mm-hmm.
if you pee and the water goes in a circle the other way, if you spin a quarter around the belly, all the signs pointed to boy. And I was, for 9 months, I was so, because we didn't know the sex. We wanted to
Okay.
just, we was going to find out when the baby was born. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
do a gender reveal. My wife was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, it's foolish. We're gonna find out anyway. The gender reveal is when they're born. That's the party, free party. Let's save the money."
Yes.
But yeah, but I'm good. I'm good. She's my daughter beats me up, so I get the rough and tumble, and I still get to be a girl dad. So it's a good
Okay.
mix. I have a good
I
blend.
got it. I got it. Awesome. Some love in the comments. Lance is saying, "Love you, bro."
Love you too, man.
And he's also saying, "You're a great father. I'm sorry, you're a great husband and father. Keep going."
Thank you, bro.
And that's always good to hear because as you shared, like you didn't know that it would happen, and then for it to happen, and for you to be doing amazing at it, like wow,
Yeah,
kudos, right?
thank you. Yeah, I try.
And not that it's easy; it's a growing
You learning every
every
day.
day,
Every day you
every
learning.
day. I have a friend who reached out. She's like, "So my kid did this. What should I do today? Because yesterday what I did, it kind of worked, but didn't work. What I'm gonna try today? We gonna keep
You
on
don't
figuring
ever
it
know.
out
Yeah, yeah.
until
Especially
you
the
get what
kids.
works."
Exactly.
And it's almost like chastisement. You're like, beat them, beat them. That doesn't work for every kid. One, two, we can't beat them to where
Mm-hmm.
mandated reporter. um, but you want to find what works for that child. It could be taking away their phone, taking away from that game, having a conversation. Each person is different, so really trying to find what works best for them.
And that's what we do with
Um,
our parenting. We definitely try to parent differently than how we were parented. So we try to
mm,
do a lot of positive reinforcement, a lot of
mm,
um helping her understand why she did what she did.
mm,
We're not we perfect. No, everything's not
mm,
perfect,
mm,
but
mm.
the intent is to allow her to have a voice so that it could be a communication where it's not a fear type of deal.
Yes,
There's
yes,
still a respect and a reverence there, but it's not
right,
I'm afraid. Oh my God.
right, right. Yeah, it didn't take me long growing up. I could count on one hand how many beings I got because I wasn't for that life. You give me that look, not a problem. What else you need me to do? Just didn't
I
work for
was the
me.
opposite way. I was hard headed, as the old folk would say.
Uh,
Hard headed.
they say hard head make us off
I
behind. So
was
now,
getting ready to say that's what they said. I forgot about that saying. So I was about to say it too. Yeah, that's what they said. And I
yes.
had a soft old tail. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Now,
But that's
luckily,
so
I can have a
amazing.
hard head and I don't have to feel the beatings now.
Hope and humor. So being married is defined in your situation as interable. What is an interable couple?
Interable couple is the definition. The definition of interable couple is where there's one person that's able-bodied and the other person might have a disability. That could be
Mm,
physical, mental, emotional. It doesn't have to just be a wheelchair. It can be any disability, and that would
mm.
qualify as interable.
Okay. And Eshard, I did check out some of your vlogs on
Thank
the
you.
site. Do you write them with your wife or you do together?
I write. No, my wife. My wife's the right. I did write one. I think I wrote the one on father about being a father. I did write that one. I was like, I have to write this one. But my wife is amazing at everything that goes on with Harris Hope and Humor. She's she's killing it. She has the vision for it. I'm just like I
Got
said.
it.
I'm the humor.
Got it.
I'm the humor.
Thank you. I'm glad she brings us some hope.
That's
But now you're right to the I don't oh goodness. This is gonna be an interesting conversation when y'all done. If I could be the fly on the wall. But I love on the website of how in this blog it was talking about interable and how it doesn't mean you're inspiration. Want to highlight pieces of why it doesn't mean your inspiration. I'll share my thoughts, but what were your guys' thoughts in saying that an interable couple does not mean that you're an inspiration?
because the word inspiration I feel like is thrown around so much. I can roll out my front door and get the mail out of my mailbox and somebody will walk by, oh my God, that's amazing that you did that. And that kind of attitude is what people think is inspirational. They think like the daily things that you do just because you're disabled is amazing. So they think my wife is a queen and a goddess. I mean, she is a queen, but they think like she's like a saint or something because she married
Mhm.
somebody in a wheelchair. It's like, oh man, like I'm it's not that bad. But it's we just living live. Everybody just living their life. Everybody
Mhm.
lives their life. Everybody has some type of challenge. There's nobody
Right.
that doesn't have a challenge anywhere.
Mhm.
So we all just living. It's just
Right.
my challenge is a little different than your challenge.
And you said it could be an array of disabilities, physical, mental,
Yes.
things of that sort. So
Mm-hmm.
we all could be walking around. Actually, we all
All
are. We all are. And it's funny because, we're so quick to do like the hashtag couple goals, and then
Mhm.
sharing, sometimes we don't know what it took for them to get to where they are. Picture only shows a bare glimpse. You don't know that they just cussed each other out before it or cussed each other out after, or
Exactly.
whatever happened to even get to that day, or the times that it was hard, it wasn't good, to get there. So just being careful how we do that, because then if it doesn't work out, the world is
You
in an
idolize the
uproar.
wrong marriage. Like you gotta every marriage is their own too. You can't take, oh, I saw such and such do that. Yeah, that works for such and such because of their
Right,
personalities. But our
right.
personalities might not be able to handle that. So
Hmm.
everything each marriage is their own individual walk. And that's how
Absolutely.
people have to look at it. Like you can't do what Bob and Susie are doing. Bob and Susie
Mhm.
doing all kinds of stuff. You can't do everything
Mhm.
they do.
Right. Because you might not like that. You got to do what works for your
Exactly.
house. And sometimes
Exactly.
people be like, what would you do in this situation? Talk to your spouse. What does your spouse want to do?
Hmm.
Because I could tell you something, but if that's not what your spouse wants to do, and that's not really what you want to do, actually, you tell me what it is that you want to do, and how we'll talk through how you can share that with your spouse. Because again, y'all two live there. I could tell
Yeah.
y'all to go on the roof, spin around 5 times, and you go up there on the roof and spin around, and you don't make it that fifth time, or you did it and it didn't work out how you thought. No, you gotta do what works for your house. Because if I spin around my roof, it works for me. I'm not spinning around
Exactly.
the roof because I'm a fool. Um, but just whatever it is that you're doing. Yeah, good. So another part was saying an interable couple is not that you are only a support to your spouse. Let's talk on that.
I'm sorry. I saw the comments. I didn't realize they were coming in. I'm sorry. Can you say that again? So sorry.
um, you are only a support to your spouse. That is not one of the definitions of being an interable couple.
Oh yeah, most definitely. No, Tierra is not just a support. I'm a support to Tierra as well. Like we help each other. Like
Mhm.
that's what you're supposed to be as a helpmate. Where she's weak,
Right.
I'm strong. Where I'm strong, she's weak. It she really helped. Like I don't think I would be the person I am today. Not even
Mhm.
like her physical help to push my chair. She doesn't really have to do that too much often. Like I
Mhm.
don't ask her that. But the push and the drive that she helped me to obtain and to get, and I'm doing things I never really thought I would have done since being
Mhm.
paralyzed. And like she helped make me realize, like, no, dog, you can do, like it's possible. It can happen. Just try it. And I've tried
Mhm.
things and it's like, oh, okay, it's real. I can do this.
Mhm. I want to touch on that, but I'm gonna come back to it, because the third one that it said that is not a good definition for interable is you settled.
Exactly. The thing about relationships it's not always about the outward that matters. If you can make somebody feel like $1,000,000 and genuinely mean it, because you can make anybody
Mhm.
feel like anything you want, but that
Mhm.
could be
Mhm.
manipulation. But if you can
Mhm.
genuinely care for somebody, I think that overrides a majority of things. Yeah, you do have to be um not naive and count in the physical, you know, toll of things something can take. But if you're
Mhm.
able to handle that and the love can outweigh the physical things you have to do, you're not settling. You made out like a bandit. When
Right.
somebody overlook another man's trash is your treasure. Like you're not
Mhm.
settling.
Mhm. On the website, it said there is a human, a person who is capable and worthy of love outside of whatever their disability is. It's the way they make you feel, the way they see you despite of the disability, that makes the relationship, and no one should be settling. And that's
Hmm.
so powerful, because no matter what your status is, the hope is that you never settle. You didn't, it's like, well, maybe nobody's gonna come around, I might as well go with this person. I don't want you to live in the hell when you don't
Exactly.
have to. And not that it wouldn't necessarily be hell, because you going, some people get in situations like, because y'all told me no, I'm gonna do it anyway, and I'm gonna fight to
Hmm.
make it work. But the fight that you got to go through to get there, why go through that? As you share, it happened
Exactly.
organically. It's that friendship, and before you knew it, like, let me find out this my rib, and then from there it blossomed to what you have now. And sometimes people get caught up because of that inspiration that we saw, or
Yeah.
that support. They want support. That's not what it's about. You got to do some stuff too, because it to keep it
Balance.
balanced and things of that sort. Because if one person is doing all the things, after I was like,
What are you bringing?
what I need you for?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
let's go back to that piece of what you're doing that you didn't think was possible to do. So, like, you're reaching for the stars and really thriving and surviving. What are some of those things?
I mean, for the biggest thing for me is this leap into cybersecurity.
Mhm.
It's literally like a year turnaround. And not many people know about it. Like I haven't really discussed it or talked about it much, but
Look at us getting the inside scoop, friends.
last February, I ended up starting a boot camp, cybersecurity boot camp at Full Stack.
Mhm,
I applied to it. They had a scholarship for African Americans, and I was like,
mhm,
I'm gonna apply. I'm not gonna get it, but I'm gonna apply anyway. Save me that
mhm,
money, and I actually got it. And I was like,
mhm,
okay, God, like, all right. So now I gotta see this out. Like, no way of turning it down. And
mhm,
I went through it, and I fell in love with it. I was like, oh, I like this. I really want to see this through. Um, and for most, what a lot of people don't understand is when you're disabled, you kind of get into the mind frame of just rely on the government checks.
mm,
They kind of pigeonhole you. The system is set up in a kind of way where you're kind of pigeonholed. So if you want to get a job, but you can't work too many hours because of your health,
mm.
okay, you got to work a certain amount of hours. It almost becomes
Mhm.
not beneficial to work because you lose all your benefits if you
Got
make
it.
over $1,000 a month. So it was, for a
Mhm,
long time, I wasn't going to work because the government had me pigeonholed. But it was just like at a certain point, it was like, no, I gotta see if I can make something happen. And God made it work out where I'm not a college kid. I wasn't. I'm smart. I'm really intelligent, but
mhm,
I don't know how to sit still and study and all like that well. So I'm 15 years late on what I should have been doing, but it worked out the way it needed to, where I can get the meat and bones of everything. I can get all the technical aspects of it. I love to
mhm,
read that. That keeps me entertained, and I'm doing that.
mhm.
And I'm literally, I'm a year, like in between a year of time, I could have a job in cybersecurity, which is unheard of for people just coming out of school like this. For most people, like good with no
Right.
experience, like God is working it out where I could be doing something crazy, and I'm excited
Mhm.
for it and excited to see how long it takes me and where I go and how many people I can help with this because that's ultimately my goal is to make
Right.
sure people are protected.
And it's so important and so needed, especially cybersecurity. I've been doing some trainings. I'm like, what? They could do that? They could what? How they stealing that
Yes,
information? Um,
yes.
and it's the simple things that we don't know. With so many because we have switched to virtual. Everybody has an email address now, right? So then you
Mhm.
get an email and you think it's from Amazon. You think it really is from Facebook, and you respond and you give these people information. This is stuff that people need to know. Maybe I need to do it.
I'm gonna just give y'all one tip. If don't ever give you never give any personal information out on anything if you don't know where it came from. If somebody just email you randomly, you gotta vet it. Don't give them another email. Don't give them your phone number. Definitely don't give them an
Mhm.
address. Don't give them nothing like that because you want to confirm that they know who you are. Don't just give your
Yes.
information out. You need to say, "How do you know me? Can you verify
Mhm.
my address? I know where I live. You tell me if you
Yes.
know where I live."
Yes.
That's the one. That's the one thing I want people to understand. Like, just keep your business your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Stop
And
putting your
even tapping
address
on
in your
the email
pictures.
address. Even tapping on the email address because it say Amazon, but when you tap on, they're saying such and such at Gmail. That can't be
Hmm.
Amazon.
Yep.
Amazon has a different name or tag and things of that sort. And sometimes you just see at first glance, and you're like, "Oh, this is them. Let me let them know." Or like when they're calling. One guy got mad at me. He was like, "Are you stupid or are you dumb?" Well, you're the one calling me, and you don't know what you're talking about. So you might be
All right.
that one. We hung up the
Exactly.
phone. But people are, trying to get over on us.
Yep.
And that's so
Every day.
cool. Your wife is sharing some facts over here. Only 22.5% of disabled men work. And I think that ties into what you were sharing of
Yeah.
the system is like,
The system
mm,
is, I got kicked off of Social Security.
mm,
Again, like we hadn't really talked about it. I got kicked off of it recently because their system was so jacked up. They didn't realize when I moved that I was married. So I had
mm,
applied. I told them I got married. When I got married, for some reason, the system never knew I was married.
mm,
So when they reevaluated me, they was like, "Oh, your wife make this much," and it was like literally a couple $100 over the limit.
mm,
They just took my stuff. I was like, okay. And that's when it was like, oh, okay, I gotta get another plan. I can't live like this. Like
mm.
this is crazy. But it's the system.
Well, let's talk about that too. So you get married, you're
Mhm.
trying to have a nice life, and this one income is now supposed to care for everybody in the household. How does that work? So the system sometimes can be janky. It's the same with social services as well, like getting food stamps or getting stipends and
Mhm.
things of that sort. It's like, well, if I don't do this, I won't make it. Or
Exactly.
unfortunately, the minimum wage and things of that sort. It's not enough for everybody, and
Exactly.
they're getting it but not getting it, and then upset that people are staying in the system, but it's helping them to survive. And
Exactly. And they just I don't even know what they need to do. It's just it's a cycle, and they try to keep you in a cycle, and you have to figure a way, get and have the wisdom of how to get out of that cycle and break that cycle. And that's what I'm
Mm,
trying to do. I'm trying to, for me and other people I know, like how do you get out the system?
mm,
Because it's not set up to help you at all. It's this you and that doesn't help you have hope. That
mm-hmm.
doesn't help you have humor when you every
Right,
day. Where's my next meal
right.
coming from? Can I
Mm,
go to the doctor? Like, am I going to go
mm,
to the doctor and get a crappy doctor because it's Medicaid? I don't want a
mm,
crappy doctor just because I'm on a government insurance. I would like to have a good doctor that cares about my health.
right,
It's those things. So
right, right.
it's hard.
And
It's
friends,
hard.
even if you got good insurance or whatever you consider good insurance, make sure you got a good doctor because some of these babies
Mhm.
went to school but still don't know what they're doing. I do a whole interview before I agree to them being my doctor. Hey, how long you been working here? How was their bedside manner? Should I be with them?
Yep.
Because that's of quality. You want somebody that's good, and that's in anything you're going through. So, friends,
Oh, yep.
take that advice. Um, so some other things that you're doing that's pretty cool for the cyber. I'm going to check in to see how that comes along. Another thing you do is you drive. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
That happened. My daughter's for about 5, 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Again, one of them just random things. I got married. I wasn't driving. My wife was chauffeuring me around everywhere, and we went to a support group, another support group, and it was happened to be at the same place where they do driving instructions for people, for paralyzed people. And I
Mm-hmm.
heard about it. I left the support group to go find. I'm like, how do I do this? I don't need the support group anymore.
Right.
I got what I
This is
came
the
for. This is
support I
why I was
need.
here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And the funny part was, so I got injured when I was 17. Never got the experience of getting a permit, driving, and all like that. And it was now I'm 27, trying to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
drive for the first time, and I'm trying to learn how to drive with hand controls.
Mm-hmm.
So the instructor looked at me and was like, "Yeah, dude, you're going to take about 6 months to learn how to drive. It's going to take you a long time. 6 months is not a long time, but when you're paying
Mm-hmm.
$140 a lesson,
Right.
that's a lot of money." And I was like, I
Right.
did it in 6 weeks. I got done in
Okay.
6 weeks, and I got done legally in 6 weeks. Like the guy was so impressed. He was like, "Y'all lying? He's drove before." I said, "I just played GTA, dude. I don't know how to drive. I just played video games." And I passed my test the first drive. 2 months later, drove to DC. Then later that year, we was driving all around Tennessee, the Atlanta to Tennessee. Like I just drive everywhere now. I just drive. I don't got a problem being behind the wheel. As long as my spasms go on ride with me, I'm good.
Mhm. I love it. But he said I just played the video game. And so many people feel like after they have done video games or enough bumper cars, I'm gonna put this up because it's just hope
Oh,
and humor.
here we
He said you
go.
should have took the whole 6 months. Because if we're honest, some people that don't have difficulties still take a long time because they're
Mm-hmm.
parking. That parking to get you. Everybody be
Yeah,
honest.
I don't
Did
know how
y'all
to
pass in
parallel
your
park.
first try? I
I
did pass.
did. I
Mm-hmm.
did. But I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to. I don't live where I have to parallel park. So when I
Mm-hmm.
come to Philadelphia and I parallel park, it takes me about 4 or 5 times. That's why he said I
Mm-hmm.
need 6 months. That's the only thing I can't do is parallel park.
It
What
is
the hell?
unfair. I lived in Maryland for some years, and they really don't have parallel parking there either. And then when you first come back to Philly, for a second, it was like, oh, okay, I gotta learn this again. You gotta relearn. But after you got it, you good to go. But truth be told, there's some people that are in Philadelphia or states and cities where you do have to parallel park that still struggle. And then you feel
Funny
bad
RV
because after
park.
they finally get in there, you could have whipped it, you be turning and looking like, dag, sis, dag, bruh. But sometimes it happens to be, oh, we've all been
I
here.
hate it. I hate parallel park. I'll go somewhere else and sit, not even at the park. I'll just sit.
Well, it's nice when you could pull up too, or just like
Yep.
back up and do those things. We all like that, whether, 'cause it's just
Able-bodied or
easy.
not. Yep, it is.
You don't want to hit nobody car, you don't want them to hit your car. So,
It
yes.
shows.
Goodness. Another thing you did or have done is wheelchair rugby. Let's talk about that. I thought that was pretty cool. Just I remember like pictures and things that sort of seeing that. So how did that come about?
Again, another random moment. I'm starting to realize a lot of my life moments just randomly happen now. They're not really. I mean,
Randomly
some
and
things are planned
organically.
out. Yeah, organically, yeah, for sure. I went to a expo. And this is an expo for disabilities, so it's just all kinds of things that you didn't know you could do. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things was wheelchair rugby. So I said, oh, I'll hop in the chair, try it out. And I loved it. Then as soon as I got it, I was like, oh, I like this. I didn't get out the chair for like 2 hours. I was like, I like,
Mm-hmm.
what is that? Um, and then I ended up actually joining the team. I played about 3 years. I was trash. I stayed on the bench most of the time. But I will listen. I want to see y'all get in a rugby chair and go out there and slam into people and try to figure out the whole game.
You was part of the team, though. That's all
I
that
was on the
matters.
team. I was going on a road trip, sitting in the hotels, eating the food on the lot. I was there. I got the championships. They gave me the chip, so I did something right.
Yes.
But my health started messing up, so I had to take a little break. I actually thought I retired, but I'm trying to figure out my schedule so I can get back to it. But this panoramic is kind of getting in the way, so I don't know.
Let me find out you coming out of retirement.
I would like to.
Oh goodness. Bench players are needed too, because you never know when they go pull you into the game.
Exactly. I actually had to play twice in my first year. I think I had to play like 2 whole games, and I was like, me? Like, y'all want this? Y'all don't want this? It's like playing 3 or 4. I'm just out here.
Yo, hilarious. I gotta go watch a game now. Did you say the rugby games are cool to watch? Definitely serious competition. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think people can be competitive, but just to be able to get out there, have fun, and interact with others is always still but I mean, we love dodgeball until we get hit, but it's fun to be out there running, like, you're not gonna give me you got me. Just to be out there. Oh goodness. Thank you. Okay, this bench. Okay. So let's talk about empowerment. What empowers you despite what you have been through?
Now it's my family. Now it's my family. I don't. Now it's my family. I do it for them. I don't. They don't need to have dead weight to carry. Mm-hmm. So I live to make sure that they are good. And I guess other people, I know people look at me. I know there's people looking at me. So you have that sense of you got to do it for somebody behind you. Mm-hmm. And that kind of keeps me going and keeps me powered. And the word of God, like, I don't always read my word the way I should, but I do know it in my heart. And that keeps me going. The word will just pop back into me. The scriptures will just keep me going. The Holy Spirit will bring it back. Holy Spirit reactivate. So, but that's what keeps me empowered.
Yes, I love it. And it's so needed. And being a survivor, what does that mean to you?
I'm not scared of too much. I know what I've been through. I know what I really can handle. Being a survivor taught me how strong I am. I'm pretty strong. I don't like taking a lot, but I know if I have to. You just got okay. It is what it is. Let's go. Let's just put it on my back and let me figure out. Let's keep going.
Mm-hmm. I got another question, but I want to pause for a second because you also shared about how people are looking at you, and as frustrating as that could be sometimes, no matter where you are, it's always somebody that's looking at you, or they're inspired in a sense by you because you are still going. They don't always know what it takes, but just to see that you did wake up, just to see that you did show up, just to see that you are still pushing and trying, shows that whatever was going on behind the curtain, you pushed past that to keep going. I used to hate it growing up because, like, the kids be like, looking. I'm like, I didn't actually look at me. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm going to mess up. But knowing that they are there helps you to be more conscious of the decisions that you're making, of the moves that you're making. And then when you do go off track, you're like, all right, so this is what happened. I'm human.
I'll explain yourself. Yep.
If you get in this situation, I encourage you to do X, Y, and Z. But if you mess up too, there's still ABC. Yep. So do you feel like it's a weight sometimes being an inspiration? I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's overwhelming. Because I want to be petty Jen sometimes, and I can't be petty Jen because somebody is going to be like, wait a minute, sis, what you doing? Ain't you that? Mind your business. But to kind of help with that.
No, because I don't think about it that much, I guess. And because as humans, we want to be better every day. We want to we have growth. So I'm not trying to put myself in positions a lot to have to fix something. I try to be having much integrity as possible, just in everyday decisions. So I think that helps where you don't have to think about it as much if you're already walking in a sense of integrity, already
Mhm.
walking like, okay, God's watching me. That's
Mhm.
the ultimate. Like, God's always
Right,
watching you, so
right,
keep your stuff together, G. Like that's
right, right.
that's that's
And
enough.
and it's funny because my pastor just wrote a book, My Angel, My Ally, and in the book it talks about how the angels are always watching because they're fascinated by
Mhm.
us. And I'm like, dang, I done did some things that the angels probably shouldn't have been seen. Right when it's like, dang, I just messed up again. I'm like, look, angels, I'm human. Let me beg y'all, just pray
Right?
and get me right with Jesus. Go back
Exactly.
up and bring me to, how to get out of this the next time. But God is watching, the angels are watching, people are watching, but most importantly, like you said, God, and you're hoping that He's pleased. But the most amazing part too is that um He knows. He knows us before we even thought to do whatever it is that we're going to
Mhm.
do. And that we can ask the Holy Spirit to activate, and then we can get back on the right track,
Yep.
and that's refreshing. And for that, I'm grateful. That grace and mercy
For sure.
new every morning,
For sure.
new every morning. So we talked about a little bit about what motivates you. What would you say is like a theme song? Do you have a theme song? Like the kind of song that kind of, like when people want to exercise or do it. Okay, all right.
Theme song. I be having so many been on the mood. Oh man, I was
All
supposed to
right.
know this. I had it and I forgot it. My theme song would be I don't know. I'm
No.
drawing such a blank. I
What's
have
your
so
or
many.
a song for this week? A song for this month. The last song that kind of was like,
S-
yeah.
what is it? Watch the Throne. Who gonna stop me? I think that one right now. I think that's the mode I'm in right now.
Mm,
Can't
I
nothing
like it.
stop me. I'm kind of like laser focused right now.
Mm,
I got a goal and I'm trying to achieve a certain thing in about
mm,
10 years. So I'm kind of hyper
yeah,
focused on that. That's so the song would be I think it's Who Gonna Stop Me.
I like it. Um, I like that because sometimes we do get caught up on other things or we think another thing's supposed to be happening. I was talking to somebody the other day. They're like, why aren't you worried about this, Jen? Or when it's going to happen, Jen? When God wanted to happen, right now I'm kind
Mhm.
of focused on A, B, and C. And sometimes people be like, well, why are you not doing blah, blah, blah? But everything comes in its time. And as you share,
It's
like,
time.
this is your season for you to be in this program. So that the next door that you need to open. And sometimes we get so caught up on what we wanted to happen that we miss that door that leads to many other doors. But being focused on the things you should be focused on, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Would you say you have a quote that you live by, or thought, a mantra, affirmation?
I'm not. It's not a great quote. I need to get a better one. But my one thing I live by is "C'est la vie."
Okay.
"C'est la vie." Such is life.
Mm-hmm.
Because life just you can't. Oh, you try to control it.
Mm-hmm.
You try to steer it, but things
Right.
happen. So
Right.
such is life.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my mantras, and that's helped me get through. That's helped me get through some of the bad times. Like that's life. Come on.
Right. Right. And not necessarily you said it's not a good one, but actually you're acknowledging that this is a part of life where we're going to keep on going the best way we know how. So I think that's the most important part because sometimes we can get stuck in it and then we can't get out of it. And it's like,
Mhm.
am I going to move forward or am I going to stay in this? So hey, really true. Such is life.
Such is
We're going to
life.
keep it going. Something happened the other day. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I went and sat on the bed. I was like, God,
Yep.
all right. A couple minutes later, it was back to how it should be. Thank you,
Yep.
Lord, for fixing that. You gave
Yep.
me a little scare,
That's
but
how
I
I
was gonna
go.
be like, we're gonna roll with it. But sometimes it is where you rolling with it and it's not rolling, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But such is life.
Such is life. That's it. C'est la vie.
Say la vie. So, which leads me to Harris Hope and Humor. How did that come about?
We wanted to show people what Interable Life was about. We wanted to kind of bring awareness to what interable couples are, and that you can, in a wheelchair, still have a family, have a life, do fun things, have kids. Well, kid.
I thought it was another one coming in the
No,
future.
no,
Okay, okay.
kid. Um, but you still can live, and it's difficult.
Mhm.
It's hard. I had a rough 2.5, 3 years. The last couple of years, it was my body was under attack and just broke down. I was just broke. Like my body was just broke.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm better now, and um, I'm ready to share. Like I want to share that with people. Like, you don't. First of all, you don't have to go through these things I went through. Let me tell you. Listen, there's a nutritionist for spinal cord patients.
Mm.
So if you're in a wheelchair and you want to lose that quad belly or whatever, there's nutritionists for that. There's so many resources out there now for us. Like I just want to share that, and that's what we wanted to do, was share with people. And like I said, Tiara she took it and ran with that thing. And I was just like, okay. I was just like, hey, let's just go on YouTube. And then we did YouTube, and then it's just like, oh, let's go to Instagram with it, and then TikTok, and it's just like, all right, we just doing things, and it's like it's flowing. We have opportunities presenting to us, and just it's good. I love the progression of it. I love how it's going, and I'm happy that it's helping people. And people just message sometimes randomly, just say, this helped me, and I follow you for this, and you don't even know they're following you. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even know who's looking at you, and then people are like, yeah, I watch your stuff. You guys really helped me. That idea for such and such work. I was like, oh, I just be throwing stuff out there. But you never know what's going to stick.
Right. You never know. It's funny how you're saying how it has blossomed from one thing to so many more. And it's like, the favor of your wife. I was, a friend had a man's guide to the altar last week. And one of the pieces was what's a wife, and they were talking about, a man to find a wife, find a good thing, or the same favor. So it's like, you gave her food, she made a meal out of it. You gave her this idea, and it's now, blowing your mind, but it's also helped you to connect with so many different people, to be able to really push your vision of what it is that you're trying to do, which is amazing, because it goes beyond just you two. Those hashtags help you to connect with others. And they're like, oh, well, how did you do that? Because as you post something, they're intrigued of, oh, or they just want to know, like, I was having a bad day. How do you stay motivated?
Yeah.
And again, it's just amazing. So with the name of it, though, Hope and Humor, why Hope and Humor? How did that come about?
Because that's my life. That's our life too now.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it was like you would come to the hospital. When I first got injured, you come to the hospital. I'm cracking jokes to make you feel better, so that you're not crying, you're not upset, you're not depressed that I'm paralyzed. So I'm a crack a joke so you can lighten up and we not talk about it. So that's my big thing, is to just laugh, just have fun with life, and intermingle to that. It causes you to have hope, because it's like, it's not that bad. It's you can make it. You can get through it. We're gonna figure it out. You're gonna look it up on Google. You're gonna YouTube it. You're gonna pray about it. You're going to just cry about it 10 minutes, and then you're gonna try to pick yourself up off that floor. And that's what it's about.
That's a big one. You said the humor part of, you cracking jokes that somebody doesn't feel bad. But then you being able to go see your sport to help you laugh in those moments where he's like, all right, the curtains are closed now. That was crazy out there. How did you get those parts of, what are some pieces that you do to help you to stay on track of those? Because again, the curtains have to close after a while. You have to kind of like breathe after a while, how does that work?
When I get to my points, I reach out. My homies, they know, they're like, oh, this man, he in his feelings. Here we go. And I just have to just,
Wait. Guys getting feelings?
Yes, you got to.
Oh, okay. I'll tease.
Wait, please turn the chat off too. Please turn the chat off. But yeah, you gotta sometimes just let it out. I'm working on trying to let it out a little more, and not hold it in as much, because I like that. I'm a loner in that sense, where I can just hold everything in. But I'm going through therapy and working. I actually missed therapy for a little while, and I had to find a therapist. And like, I kept stalking. I'm like, you ready? Can I come?
Yes.
You gotta work on yourself daily. It's hard.
Absolutely.
People don't understand you always working on yourself. They say, have a kid. Okay, you have a kid and you're still growing up while your kid is growing up. You get married, you still gotta grow and develop and learn, and you're growing and adjusting. Your spouse is growing and adjusting. It's like tectonic places just always moving in friction. It's just, and not a bad friction. It's just y'all grooving and y'all changing and just melding and figuring each other out again. And just it's nice, it's decent, but it's work as well. You gotta stay grounded and stay connected the whole time.
Absolutely. It is work as well. Lance said I'm being nice.
I saw. I gotta turn the chat off. I keep laughing.
But that's important. Another thing that you said is about therapy, and over here at Gen Cares, we are advocates for therapy because we're trying to normalize the importance of mental wellness. And knowing that sometimes you need to talk some things out because we hold so much and eventually you do explode, and then you don't want to explode on the wrong person,
Yeah.
in the wrong way, because once you have cracked that egg, you can't really put it back together. You got to make something with it, and hope is that you're making something that the other person is able to take in to say, okay, you were having a bad day. um, and it's as
Yeah.
simple as sometimes telling people, today's been a lot, I need a moment, so that they know how to best support you, and saying what your moment looks like. My moment can look like you don't talk to me for a couple hours. It could
Yeah.
be that you're around, but you're quiet in the room, so that when I am ready to talk, you're there. But whatever that looks like, and again, we talk about the importance of it. And I was joking about, men having feelings, because sometimes we forget that men do have feelings, that they do go through things, that they are managing life and being the head of a
Mm.
household, a father and a husband. There's sometimes where it's like you still want to make sure things are taken care of in your household, and it could be overwhelming,
Hmm.
among other things for a black male.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to support, and that therapy helps with that. It helps you to be able to let some out of that balloon every so often, like, up, it's getting too
Yeah.
full. I gotta let some out. I gotta let some
Yeah.
out. And it does help. And I appreciate that piece of sharing it to help any men that are watching to know that therapy is important and beneficial,
Yes.
men and female, male and female, knowing that it is important to be able to just share with someone. It's a new show called The Grand Crew. Have you seen
Mm.
it?
I've heard about it. Yeah, I watched a couple episodes. Watched a couple episodes of it.
And I'm sad because I don't know that they're going to make it, but I love what they stand for. I love what they stand for. And in the last episode, they were talking about one of the guys was going to therapy, and I just enjoyed the process of him processing what was going on with him with his therapist and sharing that with his friends, being comfortable to share that. And again, I just again love that they were normalizing the importance of being able to talk to somebody. His friend was having trouble with relationships, and he's like, "No, my therapist likes me." So are you shifting what's going on and making it seem like that's what it's supposed to be? It was like, no. And then he's going to his therapist to make sure he's telling his friend the right thing. I was like, yes, I love it in action. And then him identifying that he was shifting his relationship issues onto this therapist, and finding out that he did need another therapist and actually got a male therapist, and it worked out great and things like that. But again, just the importance of knowing how important therapy is. The representation matters because it's African Americans on that show, and they're
Mhm.
talking about the importance of therapy. I
Mhm.
love my spills of therapy because it is good. It is needed. If you need it, call somebody. Let me know. I connect
Yes.
you with somebody that can help you talk through your things. Um, so with the humor,
Yes.
I love it. We gotta laugh at some things. But why is that hope
Everything.
important? Why is the hope important?
The hope is what keep you going. The humor just it pacifies. The humor is just a
Mm,
pacifier. It don't do anything. It
mm,
really is just literally just takes a
mm,
little of the edge off of it. But
mm,
you gotta have that hope to keep going. That's the driving force behind it.
mm. The humor pacifies. Sit there
Yeah.
for a second,
That's
because
all I
it
do is sit.
eases it, lifts it up a little bit because you're laughing. But eventually, when
Mhm.
they laugh, then it's like,
Mhm.
this still stinks, And it's that hope to help us to go forth of this too shall pass.
Yes. Yep.
This too shall pass. Such is life, but this, I won't be here always. I can get past this and then help somebody else pull them up. And it's not that crackle barrel mentality. And I love that about you as well, because it's like, I want to help others to know what it is that, they could be supported as.
Yeah.
And you share, like, you do like mentoring and things of that sort. Can you share about one of the experiences that made it, yes, this is what I need to be doing?
Um I had this one young boy, he met him about 4 or 5 years ago. He was young when he got shot. I think he was like 17. And I went to go see him and he was kind of quiet. He didn't really say much. He kept to himself. But his mom, she took me aside and she talked to me for like 2 hours after I talked to him. Because it was like my second time meeting him. And she was like,
Mm,
"Thank you so much. He don't talk much, he don't say much, but you really are helping him. He's taking all this on. He's understanding what this life is gonna be like afterwards." Now granted, the young man didn't really talk to me that much afterwards after he got out the hospital, but I felt like
mhm,
I gave him just enough to get going. And I seen him later on a couple years ago, and he's doing well. He looks good, like he looks fine.
mhm,
He had a little girl or whatever. Like it was just letting him know, like you can do this. Like I came rolling there in my locks and all like I was just he's like, oh, like I was like, no, you don't have to stay in this crappy
yeah,
chair and in these scrubs. Like you can put yourself together and look
Yes.
like something and still feel like somebody. And once you get out of here, it gets better. You just have to make it better. It's not going to
Mm-mm.
get better on its own.
Not gonna get better on its own. I'm still eating on that humor pacifies. Hope is the drive. That was good. Friends, don't forget. That was good. But I also love that piece of you like being an inspiration to the young man. And sometimes we are trying to encourage people and it seems like they aren't listening. And
Hmm.
as a mom, sure he doesn't really talk. But you what you did say did help because they could see the difference. So they saw that light bulb that went off in that child as well. Um, what thank you so much for joining us, Stuart. Um, what are some things that you want us to walk away with as it relates to hope and humor, as it relates to life, as it relates to such is life, as it relates to humor as a pacifier? I love it. I love it, friends. I'm taking that one. Um, what is something that you want us to walk away with?
I don't really want y'all to walk away with nothing, to be honest.
Okay.
It's like, no. No, basically that you don't have to give up no matter what you're facing. No matter what you're facing, no matter what you're facing, is the sun is going to shine again. You're going to come out from it. Every day is not going to be like this. I've faced death a couple times, and I didn't know if I would make it, but through the grace of God and everything else, like I did, and it just gives you ammunition and gives you fuel for the next trial and tribulation. Like, okay, you have a little more energy than you had the last time, and you don't realize
Mm,
it, but you do. You have a little more energy to
mm,
make it up further than you did the last time.
yes.
So don't quit. Just keep going. Just again, you have to feel your emotions. You have to feel your feels. But after that moment is passed, get back to the grind and do what you need to do.
Mm, I love it. Y'all be sure to follow Harris Hope and Humor. You can go to their
Yep.
website at www.harrishopeandhumor.com or you can find them on social media at Harris Hope and Humor. Be sure to see what they got going on. They have an amazing blog. What are some other things people can find if they follow you or check out your website?
You follow us on TikTok. We just be doing crazy stuff on TikTok now.
A lot of
And
humor
we be on
over there,
Instagram.
huh?
Yeah, we do Instagram. We're about to come back with a podcast again. My schedule got a little crazy. I went from stay-at-home dad to full-time worker, so I'm trying to just figure out how to work it out. But we're trying to bring a podcast where just me and my wife
Mhm,
we talk about living as an interable couple still, but just regular
mhm.
life things. Like just okay, yeah,
Yeah.
we interable, but when we sit down, we look the same and we still
Mhm,
go through
mhm.
regular issues like everybody else. So we
Yeah.
just want to give our take and our view on
I can only imagine. I can't wait till that goes so I can tune in and listen because it's gonna be some foolishness, some good foolishness going on
it.
at the Harris Hope and Humor
Yep,
podcast.
always some
So y'all check,
shenanigans.
yeah, again, y'all check them out. Again, that is Harris Hope and Humor. You can go to their website, harrishopeandhumor.com, and follow them on social medias at the handle at Harris Hope and Humor. Are there is that the handle for all of your different?
Yes, yep,
Okay.
that is yep. Harris Hope and
Awesome,
Humor.
awesome,
Yep.
awesome, awesome. Uh-oh. Let me go to these comments for a second.
These
William said your
comments.
mom over here
Listen,
getting on
I
my
ain't got
nerves.
nothing to do with that, man. That's you. That's all you, Mr. West. You. I
Oh goodness. Sandy said, oh man, I missed it. I'll watch the
Hey
replay.
Sandy.
Maybe. Lance said, great show, proud of you. Did anybody have any questions they wanted to ask? I'd be so excited in the conversation. But if you have anything, let me know. Let's find out what you're saying. Cindy said, I was thinking of you the other day, Leon. You always taught me how to navigate my iPhone. I still suck. Miss you, bro, and proud of you. I love it.
Miss you too. Thank you. I
Thank
still
you
help.
so much. Please be nice to him when he off this live. I know he did some stuff in the beginning. Give him some hope. I'm gonna give him some hope. You give him. I don't know. Y'all work it out. Y'all work it out. Andrea said, "Congrats, Harris, Hope, and
Thank
Humor."
you.
Yes, y'all check them out. They're doing some amazing things. Again, I really did enjoy the blog, reading the different posts, hearing about your little one and how she is growing. As you said, she's 34. And that's how it normally
Sure
works
enough.
too, because they are so smart and gravitate and be like, no, but this is how it should be, and this is how it should go. So grateful for her continuing to thrive. This was really good. I just wait one more second in case anybody did have a question or another comment that they wanted to share. I
God
do
bless you too,
truly
Nia.
thank you so much
No
for
problem. Thank you
joining
for
us.
having me.
Anytime. Because hey, I want people to know that we could survive. We are surviving rather, and that
Mhm.
hope and humor plays such a big part. Um, Still stuck on that. Humor is a pacifier. I like it. And that hope is a drive. And I want us to remember that and not forget that. So again, be sure to follow them. If you have any questions, they have a podcast that has some answers and things of that sort. But again, be sure to follow them. If you got a question, ask them. They're about to have a podcast. You have some topic ideas. Let them know. So they can go. Why she saying watch your purse? What you do,
Don't
Leon?
worry about it. People the people just bring up old news. I don't know what they talking. I'm handicapped.
Well, at least we virtual, so my purse is good, Sandy. But I'm gonna have to hear that story another time. I said nice job, Lee.
Thanks, Mom.
We have a little spam person in here. Thank you for joining us.
You saw my eye pop up in the middle. I was like, that looked like some other
sure
stuff.
Those letters are saying.
Need to block all of that.
But this is really, really cool. Again, I thank you so much. Y'all be sure to follow them to stay in the know when they do start their podcast. I'm excited to hear the different stories that they're going to talk about. Just to be able to educate us on all things of life, all walks of life. Mm-hmm. And again, I thank you so very much for joining us. May you have a great, great evening.
You too. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Tonight's guest was Leon Harris for our Hope and Humor. Oh my goodness, I laughed. My cheeks, they went up a little bit. That was pretty fun. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Be sure again to follow our guests. We thank them so much for joining us. And don't forget our quote of the day. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. And that's by the late Desmond Tutu. And it was funny when I was pulling quotes for this, he came to mind because he actually did the speech I guess that's what it's called. I don't know the words. I can't think of it. At my graduation some years ago. And I wish I really paid attention to what they be saying. We was just excited to be graduating and be over. But that quote is still important. And he had some good points to say that day. I just don't know what it was. But he said hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Friends, you and I can make it through and keep on surviving. Be sure to join us next week as we will have Sandra Atkinson for Broken to Be a Blessing. Oh, I'm excited for that. I can't wait to tell y'all. Y'all gotta come next week for me to tell y'all what I want to tell y'all about that. Because if I tell you now, you're not gonna go back. So come back next week to find out what it's about. But again, I thank you all so much for joining us. I love you all for real. Until next time, peace.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chosencounselors.com. That's chosen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here as we specialize in bringing the community to you.